Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Friday. Today, it's a pleasure to have our guest, Alessandro Maggioni, Regional Senior Marketing Manager at onsemi. Ciao, Alessandro. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thanks to everybody. So hello to everybody. So I'm fine. Thanks you.
Fine. Thanks a lot. So, where are you located, Alessandro? What's the
So
weather like
I'm
today?
so I'm located in Munich. The weather today is quite nice for winter. So we have like -6, snowing. So we are really falling into the winter time now.
Christmas time.
Yes.
So, Alessandro, tell us more about you. So, introduce yourself. Tell us more about your hobby, your job. Introduce yourself to our power electronics news community.
Yes, thanks. So basically, I born and grew up in Monza, so close to Milan, Italy. And I would say that the fact of living close to one of the biggest European parks, so which is also included the Formula One track inside the walls, let's say for sure helps to appreciate both nature and motor. So this means that I like mountains, mainly to the fact that I was born quite close to them. So here in my region in Italy. And I used to spend 3 times there on the mountain since I was very young, so both in summer or winter. I would say today, due to that, when I have 3 times, I really like hiking, skiing, and it helps that Munich, so where I'm living today, is very close to the Alps.
Mhm.
On the other way around, I also like sometimes the sea, so I like to spend some time at sea. So in particular, I really like diving. And as soon as I have the opportunities, I really like to dress diving suit, mask, scuba tanks, and really go deep. So to have
Nice.
some relax.
Nice.
What I
Good.
like also, as you do sometimes, I like to have a ride with my motorbikes. So especially here near Munich is very perfect because you can drive to the main lakes with very beautiful landscape. Relaxing, yes, I like a lot reading, even if unfortunately I don't have enough time at home, but I usually try to use the time on the airplanes, so which I use quite a lot, to read my preferred books, so which are basically mainly on history and nature. So I like to read, for example, anthropological and paleontological subject books. I would say
Fantastic.
for a school background, so despite this preferred subject, which I know are not usually so common for semiconductor communities, I choose to get an industrial technical school degree. So I got a specialization in electrotechnical, and I'm in semiconductor industry since 2003. Started as application engineer, and I'm in marketing roles since 2006. So my background,
Wonderful.
so considering my studies, is mainly for analog and power.
So you said you have an industrial technical school degree, like me.
Correct.
So I did the same school. So tell me which were your favorite subjects at that time. I guess so. In my opinion, for sure, your favorite subject would be electronics technology, not history, but you are reading history books. And but in my opinion, for such as schools, you can learn more from laboratory. So when I went to university after high school, the knowledge from laboratory helped me a lot, to be honest.
That's correct. So at school, of course, my preferred subject were electrotechnics and electronics. So history and I would say was a personal curiosity. So I cultivate on private times because in technical schools you're doing something that is mainly cultivated on industrial subjects. Since in this kind of school, of course, you are focused more on technical subject. So laboratories were a really important piece of learning phase as a student. As you mentioned, you can really learn a lot of things, so which can really help you to move from the abstract to real, no? And I think it's very important because today I would say a lot of very good engineers, very good designers, so are very really good in theory. But then when it comes to test their ideas, especially this is true for designer, in the lab, so sometimes some of them they become a little bit uncomfortable if they didn't try all those labs at school.
So Is there some professors that you remember well gave you an important background that you bring with you, who inspired you most during your life, work life, but in general?
I would say that an important imprinting to my life was my teacher at the primary school. So I was really that way. So she was really always pushing, and I'm very glad for that. So she was always pushing to be curious. So look to cultivate your hobbies and really ask questions. So I was very lucky because since having this at a young age, so it helped me a lot to form my mindset from the beginning, no? And be curious on different subjects, which can help also in our job.
You live in Germany, Munich.
Correct.
So what is missing from Italy apart food?
Okay, well, apart food, I would say that I admit that, well, I like to live in Germany. So city like Munich, I would say are not so different to some city in North Italy
Yeah.
as lifestyle, especially Milan or Monza. I would say that main missing part of living here is, of course, to stay away from families and friends. Even if today is more easy to get connected, it was a little bit tricky during the pandemic time. I would say the most annoying part is that, unfortunately, on Sunday, everything is closed. So if you need to be careful to program your shopping according during the week, and unfortunately, so with our job, that could be a challenge.
So you started your career in 2003, I guess. So please correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
So tell me something that you noticed during these years, during your career, also your experience in this year that is finished. So we are going to the next 2023. What do you expect from the industry? What's next? What's your next goal at onsemi?
So, well, when I started, I would say most of industries were quite conservative. So I'm talking especially industrial and automotive. So project runs very slow, and there also were a slower presence of really disruptive technologies. So at the time, especially in industrial, we are still using technology which are 30 years old and so on. I would say today the market is changing. Also in this traditional industrial segment, so automotive and industrial. So the innovation, I would say, is moving really faster. So this is one of the things I really saw during my career, especially in the last very boom in the last 3-4 years. I mean, you just think about car electrification, no? So it brings a lot of challenge. So for which the industries need to really run faster than in the past. New technologies, new challenge to achieve. One example which combine everything is also EV charging. So it has to run in parallel. So ahead of, or really ahead of even for car electrification, no? In order to provide the right infrastructure to supply enough electricity to everyone. I would say that replacing fossil fuel machine in the industry and build an environment will facilitate the transformation of this economy, so to widespread electrification. So this is what I'm really seeing today, and also the competition scenario has changed. So despite in semiconductor, a lot of acquisition, and even as a customer of us, so more new company rises in the market that few years ago was very stable and dominated by very few big players. No. So this is also one of the things was changing. So the market becomes more and more dynamic. My next goal in onsemi is really to try to help my group. So I'm responsible for one group to address these innovative segments with the next generations of products. So that's my goal, and hopefully.
Nice point. Good. So last one. Weekend is coming, but also Christmas is coming. So your next project with your family, maybe mountain, sea. So next book to read, maybe with a good wine.
Yes, you're right. Finally, weekend and even Christmas is coming. So here in Munich, we will also a real white Christmas, I would say. Unfortunately, again, some snow already fallen. So if the weather will be fine this weekend, so we'll be fine. Maybe we could plan to spend part of the weekend skiing. So we started now to introduce my young daughters, so they will 4 and 6 to skiing. And so I would say that will be a nice opportunity to spend with the whole family and having fun as much as possible. And of course, let me say on Sunday evening, so when whole kids will be sleeping and relaxing, so I would like to close the weekend with a nice glass of Passito of Pantelleria. So that's my plan for the weekend.
This is good. Thanks a lot, Alessandro. Thank you to have you at Wind Down Friday, and
Thank you,
Merry
Maurizio,
Christmas.
for the planning. Merry Christmas to you and to you all, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Alessandro. Ciao.
Bye.